I'm just trying to find my way. It's my destiny, I know I got a part to play. Can't wait to see a high on that righteous day. New Jerusalem, I know I got a right to stay. You need to take heed to this wisdom, and you gotta stay away from folly. Cause everybody say they in the truth, but the truth is not in everybody. Shalom, family. I just wanna give all praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High, because He is reaching out and He's touching His people. And there's this great awakening going throughout the land of Israel. When I say the land of Israel, I'm not talking about the physical state of Israel. I'm talking about the land of spiritual Israel. And it brings my heart joy. It brings my heart so much joy to see brothers and sisters waking up to the truth of His word, the truth of who He is, and the truth of how to keep His appointed times. People are waking up and they are realizing that this Gregorian, Greco-Roman, calendrical delusion is false. And people are waking up to the truth. Just recently, Agdarat, I woke up this morning and saw a live from him, and he was talking about his walk and what he has come to the understanding of, and getting back to the roots of keeping the Most High's true calendar, the lunisolar calendar, the Hebrew calendar. And he in his live, he gave a lot of good information, talking about how it's literally impossible to keep it when you're using today's calendar, keeping the Saturday Sabbath or the Sunday Sabbath. All of these things was implemented by Rome. And the scripture says that He will seek to change times and laws. And we see that unfolding before our very eyes. We've seen it happen in the history books, but yet people still, they choose to adhere to a pagan calendar. But it brought me joy because this is a very important issue that not a lot of people are talking about. And so when I see a brother, and we've only been Facebook friends, I think maybe like 6 months or something like that. But I've been listening to his music for some time, and I've kind of watched this brother, listening to, what he's talking about in his music. He never stops seeking knowledge. He never seems to get to a certain place of understanding and saying, okay, this is it, I'm good now. He always seeks more knowledge. And so to see a brother consistently seek knowledge and to ask questions that goes against the grain, because whether you're in the Christian church, whether you're a Hebrew Israelite, whether you a Muslim, whatever religion you are, right? Oftentimes we are encouraged to just accept things the way that they've always been, or to accept things the way that things have always been explained to us. And when we question things, we are labeled as, trouble starters, or like we're seeking to cause contention, strife, and division within the nation. And that's not the case. We're just literally seeking knowledge. We're literally seeking a better understanding of the word, so that way we can live in accordance to what it says. But oftentimes when you see something that differs from the norm and you speak on it, you're demonized for it. And I've been kind of following this brother closely, because lately he's been making a lot of posts, asking questions and making statements that challenge the current norm. And so when I see the posts, man, I love the post. Sometimes I comment on the post just to give the brother encouragement, because I know how hard it is um, to step outside of the norm, step outside of the comfort zone, and think outside the box and speak on it in the face of a world where everybody within a specific community believes a certain way, and they come for you. They come for you hard when you don't speak or believe on the same things that they do. I was telling my cousin this just the other day. When new information is presented to someone, we can only do a few things with it. We can examine the new information, right? We can ignore the new information. We can accept the new information, or we can reject the new information. Now, I am not an advocate for accepting or rejecting new information at any point in time. I always like to examine the new information to see its validity first before making a determination. But oftentimes, us as human beings, and this is a natural response, when we are faced with new information, especially if that information challenges our current beliefs, our current set of beliefs, and even more so, especially if that new information challenges our core beliefs, then naturally we wish to reject that information. Naturally we feel some kind of way. We get caught up in our emotions. We get caught up in anger. Sometimes it's sadness, but we get defensive, and we're on the defensive, and it makes it really hard. Even if the new information is true, it makes it really hard for someone to accept new information like that. And so, to be able to speak on certain things and to be able to do certain things when you are surrounded by individuals who are like-minded, but their like mind is different than you, or it's different than what you know to be true because you've done the work. It can be difficult. And so when you lean on the Most High, you lean on the scriptures, and you stick to your guns, regardless of how others may feel, what others may say, regardless of what others may do to persecute you, stay encouraged, because we don't understand enough. Not only is this word and this instruction for us, it gives us examples, and we see time and time again in the New Testament and in the Old Testament, members who were called by the Most High to do his work were not met with gratitude. They were not met with open arms, welcoming arms. They were persecuted. They were killed. It wasn't like, oh, okay, you speaking the truth, come on in, break bread with me. It wasn't like that. So us now in today's time, in modern day, somehow we think that that's supposed to be different. When you truly get into the nicks and crannies of this word right here, when you truly get into the nicks and crannies of this word right here, and you speak on what it says, not what somebody pastor said, not what somebody elder said, not what some camp said, not what some teacher said, right? When you get into what this says and you speak it to other people are going to have a problem with it, especially if it differs from what they've been taught from wherever they learned it from. So when I woke up this morning and I saw this brother's post, this brother's live, and I listened to it, it brought my heart joy. All praises to the Most High for his awakening. Other individuals have hit me up asking about the lunisolar, asking about, how to actually keep the Most High's appointed times and feasts. And it's amazing to be able to share that information with other people, because it's very important. It's very important. The keeping of the Most High's calendar, his true calendar, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, but I believe it is the foundation of everything else. Because if you're not keeping the Shabbat, and obviously this is in accordance with all my Torah keeping believers, right? If you're not keeping the Shabbat, you're not keeping the feast days, then what are you doing? What are we doing as believers? um Agdarak, he was mentioning rehearsing the righteous acts, right? If we're not rehearsing the righteous acts, and yet we're rehearsing the acts of the beast, right? Then how can we love one another? How can we love the most high? How can we be obedient? How can we let our faith and our works, you know, exceed abundantly to give him glory? How are we able to teach each others if we don't have a foundation? You need a foundation. And unfortunately, through, you know, misinterpretation, mistranslation, false teachings, or even personal agendas, right? Regardless of what it was, we were given misinformation. And because of that misinformation, it's led a lot of us to believe outside of what the scriptures actually speak of. And so hearing this brother talk about it, hearing another brother who's been hitting me up recently, asking questions about the lunisolar, how to keep it, and the counting of the days, and new moon, which is a worship day, and you have your 6 days of the work week, and then your Sabbath, and how that throughout the history of the scripture, and in accordance with the feast day instruction in Leviticus 23, the lunisolar calendar is the only calendar that adheres to the word, where you can look at the word and say, okay, it says on the 15th day of this month. And then you look and you knock it up against the Gregorian, and you're like, this doesn't line up. And then you knock it up against the lunisolar, and it's like, okay, this is exactly on point. So mathematically, scripturally, and then rationally, it all lines up. It works out. But, man, that's all I wanted to say, man. I want to encourage everybody, and not even just in regards to the lunisolar. If you have done study and your due diligence, because for me, it took me over 2 years to research the Shabbat and the calendars and the scriptures and history and all of these different things to come to the conclusion of the lunisolar being the Most High's calendar. It took me over 2 years to go through that. So for all of the people who are taking time, they're doing their due diligence to look into the matter, examining the whole matter like we're supposed to do, man, be encouraged and continue on. Don't let people who have different opinions, or are under different doctrines, or under the influence of different bodies of faith, discourage you from doing what the Most High tells you to do in His Word. Stay encouraged. If you need anything, you know where to reach out to. I'm here for you guys. I love you guys. With that said, be safe and shalom. All praises to the Most High.